How's it going, everybody? Who is this? The Real BP Earthwatch. So I'll play a little bit of this. It's kind of interesting about September 17th. They're calling it a 9/11 day. In the Hebrew calendar or the Torah calendar and the Gentile calendar, and then we have our calendar. So all these calendars are referring to like a form of 9/11 or 9/26, which is a lot of movies out there about the end times of 9/26, September 26th. I can't really explain it more because the guy who's explaining, I'm still trying to figure out how he's doing it, but I know how he's doing it, but it's kind of like trying to learn a new math problem. You have to look at this. It's like, look at this formula, look at this formula, and look at this formula, and you got to try to piece them all together. But anyway, I'll try to remember, put the link of this guy that I just found on, well, actually, I didn't find him. I'm sure he come to me on this algorithm kind of like thing for whatever I'm looking for or searching for or interest in, they're going to bring more of it to you. So let's see if we can listen a little bit of this.
One hospital.
Okay, hundreds wounded, dead in Beirut after Israel remotely detonates Hezbollah's pagers. So I guess they all have pagers, right? Well, apparently Israel had some type of control or technology that affected those pagers, and they all blew up. And so there's just up to hundreds wounded in the suburban of Deya. There appears to be fatalities, according to the graphic social media images. Hundreds of members of the Lebanese armed group Hezbollah, including fighters and medics, were seriously wounded on Tuesday when the pagers they used to communicate exploded. According to the security sources, Al Jazeera has cited eyewitnesses who say there were over 400 victims at just one hospital. Okay, so Tuesday, September 17, 2024. Now, it's interesting because we have an eclipse happening today as well. And this eclipse, I think, has it's a penumbral eclipse or something like that. I can't remember what type of eclipse it is, or a partial eclipse, something like that. So I'm going to go to... Now, the article of the link that he had, they updated it. Now, this one by the same guy. So I'll show you. This is the one I'm looking at now. And when he did it, this was the headlines. And it was September, I don't know if you can see it, September 17, 2024 at 9:05 a.m. by Tyler Durden. Right? Hundreds wounded, dead in Beirut after Israel remotely detonates Hezbollah's pagers. Okay, that's I don't know if you can see that. My lights are getting all freaked out. But I went and clicked the link that he had, and they updated the link. It says Hezbollah's 9/11. Iran's ambassador among 1,000 plus wounded. Oh, Iran's ambassador too. Wounded up. Israel remotely detonates pagers. And then this one says 7:50 a.m. It's like this one come out before the one BP Earthwatch was reading off of, but it's the same link. It's so bizarre. Okay, so let me read this. An eyewitness tells Al Jazeera, there's more than 400 men here. Their pagers exploded, the ones they use for communication. There are regional Lebanese media reports over 1,200 Hezbollah operatives injured. Reuters, R-E-U-T-E-R-S, Reuters, is confirming that Iran ambassador to Lebanon, Mojtaba Amni, is among the wounded in the series of pager explosions based on the report in Iran's Mehar news outlet. Followed-up reports say, oh my gosh, I gotta read this too. Follow-up reports say there are reports of civilian deaths in Beirut, including children. Some of the explosions happened inside homes where the pagers were on shelves or bedstands. An Al Jazeera correspondent writes, we're talking about hundreds of members of the group in hospitals. We are seeing videos online of the injuries to their arms, to their legs, even their faces. The Lebanese Health Ministry is urging the doctors and nurses to rush to South Beirut hospitals amid a shortage. Reuters is reporting that among the confirmed killed is Hezbollah's member of the Parliament Sun, who was part of the armed wing, according to him. So now it says 8 dead, 2,750 injured in Lebanon exploding pagers. Minister, Health Ministry, 200 people in critical condition. Whoa, this is getting serious, you guys. Let me just show this guy. I'm not sure how well you can see him. But it says 8 dead, 2,750 injured. I wonder if the 2,750 means something. Because the numbers that they usually give has codes or meaning to it. The officials speaking on conditions of anonymity because he is not authorized to speak on the media, says the explosions were a result of a security operation that targeted a device. The enemy, Israel, stands behind this security incident, the official says, without elaborating. He adds to the new pagers the Hezbollah members were carrying the Hezbollah members were carrying have lithium batteries that apparently exploded. Does this signal the start of a larger anti-Hezbollah campaign? It appears so, and the Hezbollah is definitely expected to escalate from this side. This could be start of a new Lebanon war bigger than the scope of the 2006 war. Okay. It says, why pagers? Many are asking why the pagers. Military analyst Elijah Mangineer has told Al Jazeera that Hezbollah relies heavily on so-called pagers to avoid Israel intercepting its members' communications. He also suggests that these devices might have been pre-tampered before they were dispersed among Hezbollah members. This is not a new system. It has been used in the past, he said. So in this case, there has been involvement of a third party to allow access to remotely activate the explosion, he said. My goodness. There's an ad from someone put it used to be Twitter, it's called X. Good morning, cyber folks. A borderline literally incredible story from Lebanon, where Reuters is reporting the simultaneous mass attack on Hezbollah members was Israel hacking their pagers, possibly Teletrim. I think Teletrim is obviously some type of communication. Oh, here's the pagers that we're using. Used in the group to receive short, secure messages. Now, I want to go to this guy that I was telling you about.
All right, let me tell you, the reason I'm sharing these videos is I feel like I'm giving a book report right now, because Khan John, the Satanist himself, came out with a new book called The Dragon's Prophecy.
Now, Khan John, I never listened to him. I always thought he was just freaky. I thought he was kind of evil, but according to this guy, he's read his books, and I guess he gives out the information, good information, but he's an evil guy. So the Black Eyed Peas, it shows on their calendar that it goes to the 22nd of this month. Remember, the 22nd of this month is, I do believe, the winter solstice, according to the Torah and the Gentile calendar. So when they say Christmas in July, oh, I'm really going to screw you guys up if I say this. It's because we're at the end of summer, so we're still kind of like in the summertime. Oh, I know I'm going to screw this up, so I better not say anything. So I'll just put the link, and I'll show you his screen name. It's called Pack 61.
And you are not going to believe
Oh.
the chapter that I've just read. I'm going to share with you, since so many people don't want to read the work of the satanic Jonathan Cahn for some god awful reason. Think it's too
be me.
wrong to read what he's writing. I don't have any idea why people don't read his work, because he tells you.
I don't read his work because, like I said, I just think he's freaky.
The truth. But either way, let's talk about the Black Eyed Peas at this very moment. So the Black Eyed Peas calendar shows Tuesday the 23rd. Okay? Watch and learn Tuesday the 23rd. Okay? Here we have the month 12. See that? 12. Right? And here's the 23rd. And it's on a Tuesday. What date is that? That's March 5th. Tuesday, 12. Okay, it's March 5th on the Gentile calendar, but the biblical date is 12/23. What date is it on September 26th and 27th? Exactly Elul 23. Elul means 12. The Black Eyed Peas is showing you the date September 26th and 27th, for God's sake. Okay? And then we know that sixes are nines. And so, since we know sixes are nines, we know the date 12/29 is 12/26, the precise date on September 26th. And that date is March 11th. That's why that redhead lady, Pisaki, kept saying, let me circle back on that. Let me circle back on that. That's the date, 3/11, the circle back date. For God's sake, they're giving this to you over and over again. But let's get to John Cahn. Watch what he just wrote. Watch, read, check it out. We'll read it together. The 2 holy days, Passover of Shemini Ezrat, Nisan 14, and Tishri 22. What month is Tishri? Glad you asked. It's month 1 and month 7 on the Hebrew. What month are we in right now?
The first and the last of God's appointed times were joined together in framing the sacred year. In 2023, they were again joined together. But this time, the dragon, remember an iPad Go 2, the green dragon that's on the down below the chalkboard, and then Bush points at the dragon after he says, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me," or something like that, as he's pointing to the dragon. Now it says in 2023, they were again joined together, but this time by the dragon. His calendar of calamity was birthed on the opening day of God's sacred calendar, Nisan 14, and would come to the finale on the accumulation day of that calendar. The great intimidator had mimicked the entire sacred calendar of God that he might desecrate it. Now, when you think about it, remember in iPad Go 2, it shows Obama laughing, giggling and laughing. Oh, and another thing, before I forget about it, what come to my mind, I guess in my dreams or something last night, it was just really interesting how this come to me, is I was seeing Kamala Harris writing on the back of, so they talk about the blank of Babylon. She rises up, right? She's kind of like this, got all these dragon heads on her. Some of them showed her riding a tiger, and there's all these tigers' heads on top, But this one dragon shows where it's just a big dragon with 7 heads on it, and she's riding the back of it. So you know who she is that rises up. Well, that's Harris, Kamala Harris, because there's a video out from when I think in 2013 or 2015 when Obama went to Israel. He's talking to Netanyahu, and Netanyahu had told him, there's a clip of it where Netanyahu said that he is big Satan, and when he points at Obama and he says, "You're little Satan." He goes, "I'm big Satan, you're little Satan." So they were telling the world, and no one caught on to it except for a few people I've seen on their channel that they point out. They're like, "Look, he just says it right here." And so when we look at the times that we're in right now, and we see that Obama refuses to leave the White House, he's the only president that's sticking around. I mean, look at Bush, look at all the other presidents, look at Clinton. He hasn't stuck around. He hasn't done anything that Obama's doing. That's because he's the little, right? And he's got Biden as a puppet, and he's got Harris now as a puppet. Well, what is little Satan gonna bring in? The WHORE of Babylon, right? With many dragon heads. So if you look at what I'm seeing in my mind's eye, the dragon heads are Obama, his man-wife, Michael Obama. Then it had Harris, and it had Pelosi. It was showing now it's the Walt guy. And then, of course, you got a couple of others that are crooked in that part with Pelosi as well. Like probably Nader and what is that other creepy, tall-looking, skinny, freaky old guy? Him. So if you look at all those, because they're the ones that have been pushing all this agendas and stuff, they're like the 7 heads of this dragon. And now she's rising up, so you can kind of see how that's playing out, right? Okay, the mystery. The mystery of desecration. It was a Hebrew holy day, Nisan 14, that threatened the dragon's control of the Temple Mount. So he would choose a Hebrew holy day as his day of revenge, October 7th. And as it was in the first God's holy days, the Passover, that threatened to desecrate his possession of the mount. So he would desecrate the last of God's holy days, Shemini Azard. I'm just not really good with the Hebrew names. But you can kind of see when you think about you as an American and being in this reality and this church, the churches that they don't teach anything about the Hebrew. They don't talk about the Gentile calendar. They don't talk about the Hebrew calendar, but the whole world is going off those calendars. Everything that's happening in our world today is focused on those calendars and our calendar as well. So it's kind of like these 3 calendars. Notice the 3 symbolism: Gentile, the Torah, the Jews, and then you got, of course, the world, the regular calendar. But anyway, just type in for his channel name is PAK, PAK 61. Anyway, he's really good. So when you look at these calendars, now I want to try to give you a close-up of it. You can kind of see you've got the date, and you've got all these other dates down here as well. These are from the different calendars. Like this is a Julian calendar. This is our regular calendar. And this is another calendar. And then this is a calendar. So there's 4 there, actually. I forgot about the Julian calendar, the Gregorian calendar, and then we got the Gentiles calendar, and then we got the Jews Torah calendar. It's so interesting, right? This is how probably when it's written in the scripture that no one knows the day or time. They don't know because we're not trained are taught to look at these things. And this is how the 1% know everything and we don't, is because we don't look at these calendars. We don't focus on all these calendars and we don't compare them. And we don't look to see what the symbolism is. So let me go a little bit farther.
And somebody asked, they always see the number 1111. Huh. 1111 is a little bit important, isn't it? Let's look at 11. Here's the.
Oh, so they were showing this movie where they were representing Morgan Freeman as God, but look at his number on his shirt, 3026. Now, 623, you read it backwards. Hebrew, you read this way. English, you read this way. So 623 and sixes are 9, so 923. If you look at a lot of the new movies, they're talking about 926 or 922, 923. And some of those dates are referring to the 17th and the actual 26th day of our calendar day. So on our calendar, it would be the 26th, and then it says on the 27th, time is up. They're even showing things on, The Simpsons approving this fact.
11. They're literally giving you 1111. Natural world of a nuclear war. Why would you call a documentary and a nuclear song the 8th day? What is the only day on the calendar that's the 8th day, besides the one that they already used, the one that's coming up at the end of October? Okay, we're not going to look at the one. I'm not going to look at the one at the end of October because they already used it last year. They're going to use the one that nobody is looking at, which is the one on September 26th and 27th. And they're calling this thing the 8th day, a nuclear documentary. So
I'll just leave it at that. I just wanted to give you a little bit of feedback about this guy's channel and what he's discovering. Because a lot of people use strong concordance. They use everybody's using different methods and different things. It's just kind of interesting. But if we, like I said, if we were told about the using the Torah calendar and using the Gentile calendar and the Julian and the Gregorian calendar, we'd be using our minds and trying to figure things out, right? But when they take out half the equation, no wonder nobody can figure anything out. And then they get stuck and lost in this, just like people say that the Holy Book is all they need. The only thing they need is the Bible, but that's not true. You need all these other calendars. The Holy Bible doesn't have all these calendars in it. So it's like you still have to look outside the box. So when you look at the book, when the closed book, it looks like a square box, right? You got to look outside the box. It's kind of interesting. That just come to my mind. It was just like being shown that. And then use what is being written. Here's a thing I want to show you too. It says more than 50,000 children require treatment for acute malnutrition. So they're talking about this in Del El Baha, in some place where it's kind of like a third world country, right? So if you look at the numbers, you can see 96%. And then down here it says 6 to 23. 623 is 923. You take the 6 and flip it over, the 6 and 9. So again, it's all those things that we've got to learn and we've got to know. And I guess it's in July, we look at July as the 7th month, but July is actually the 5th month. And I think in the Gentiles, but then the Torah calendar, the Gentile calendar, July is the 1st month, and it's the 5th month in the Torah calendar, and it's the 7th month in the Gregorian calendar, right? So I know it sounds really confusing. I'm sure I'm making it really confusing because I don't fully, I'm learning it, right? Let me just say it this way. I'm learning it. And then they always put the numbers in, right? So again, going back to the 96, remember the woman downstairs in Leave the World Behind, the black woman, she's sitting downstairs, but and on her shoulder, her left shoulder, she's got a 96 tattoo on her. And a lot of people refer to that 96 as, of course, of war and stuff like that. But the 96 has a different meaning. I can't quite remember. I didn't write it down. But anyway, have a great day, everybody, and stay safe.